à mesure que nous avons examiné un dossier, il est rappelé le point culminant des dettes par rapport au ratio de convergence de l'UEMOA, par exemple, par rapport à l'aspect soutenabilité. Mais effectivement, là, en termes de redevabilité, d'aller s'informer sur l'historique, en fait, le volume de l'endettement, ainsi de suite. Et ils en font des analyses par secteur. Cependant, nous avons remarqué la transmission des rapports d'exécution à l'Assemblée connaît quelques retards. Et dans les perspectives, qu'il est souhaitable que nous ayons systématiquement un rapport semestriel. Mais dans cette perspective, il faut souligner et marteler que la Cour des comptes est dans son couloir. C'est une institution spécialisée qui juge les comptes, qui certifie, qui évalue l'efficacité même de l'utilisation. Et nous, dans notre action de contrôle parlementaire, nous faisons connaître à l'opinion, dès que nous nous déployons, toute tendance politique confondue sur le terrain. Le public est au courant. Davantage, à partir de la session dernière, nous avons une passion citoyenne au moment du débat d'orientation budgétaire. Vous avez vu les résultats de l'enquête sur le budget ouvert. Donc nous faisons en sorte que des plateformes numériques permettent aux citoyens de suivre au fur et à mesure. Voilà ce qui est mis en œuvre dans notre pays. Pour me résumer, il y a complémentarité entre les deux institutions, confortée maintenant par la Convention de partenariat et pour laquelle nous avons veillé au cours de ce budget à doter de ressources budgétaires conséquentes pour permettre des actions conjointes. Merci beaucoup. Entre notre Parlement et la Cour des comptes.
Thank you so much.
So, I mean, when it comes to issues of debt recovery and Woolies debt sustainability and all of that, I think our standing orders is very clear. It is the Finance Committee that does that. And so, and more so, if you look at the work done by the Finance Committee and the Public Accounts Committee, our roles are distinct. I mean, it's clearly stated in the standing orders, and Committee of Ghana cannot take up that role that the Finance Committee is supposed to take. But even within the Finance Committee, the standing orders of Ghana's Parliament mandates the chairman of the Finance Committee to even go further to set up subcommittees, and it tells you the workload. So, for instance, public institutions. I mean, there's a subcommittee on the management and utilization of statutory funds, tracking funds that get fund, the District Assembly Common Fund, the NHIS, and everything. I mean, there's one that also the workload, we cannot take that responsibility. It is that of the Finance Committee. And I think that is why, in the wisdom of the last Parliament, we decided to break down even and not more than 25 members. It's now responsible to scrutinize the annual estimates and revenue expenditure. So, and they review supplementary budgets that come before the House. They also monitor budget execution throughout the financial year. So now, unlike the Finance Committee who do the pre-approval, the Budget Committee is supposed to be with the executive, the Ministry of Finance, and be going through budget year every time to ensure that allocations are going to the proper places, and that I mean, even in the drafting of the budget, the budget committee has a responsibility in there to play. So we should all appreciate that with the workload, even on public accounts alone, we cannot go and take the burden of the finance committee and add to ours. I remember when James Aveji was the chairman of the public accounts committee, we had to do 3 reports a year, and that meant members of parliament would have to study reports, move around the country, vet institutions and all of that, and that even affected some members of parliament who could not come back. And so the new standing orders is making the work much easier for us as parliamentarians by assigning roles that hitherto and finance, and now adding on committees to take up that responsibility.
Merci. Je crois que l'analyse de la soutenabilité de la dette au niveau de la Commission des finances et du développement économique au Togo se fait à plusieurs étapes. D'abord, au niveau du débat d'orientation budgétaire, comme mon collègue du Bénin l'a dit, il y a déjà une analyse de risque qui permet de mettre l'accent sur la soutenabilité de la dette. Ensuite, au niveau de l'examen du projet de loi de finances, nous avons eu nous pouvons déjà demander au gouvernement, si les dispositions ne sont pas prises pour rester dans les indicateurs de convergence de l'UEMOA, de prendre des dispositions. Par exemple, au niveau de... Pendant une période, le Togo s'est endetté vis-à-vis des banques pour financer les investissements. Et ça commençait à devenir un poids important par rapport à la situation budgétaire du pays. Alors, il était question de s'engager sur le plan international à des taux d'intérêt moindres et avec des délais beaucoup plus longs pour permettre la soutenabilité des financements qui sont utilisés pour faire l'investissement. Au-delà de cela, la Commission des finances a la possibilité d'aller faire une analyse sur place des comptes de la dette au niveau du gouvernement. Et toutes ces discussions se font d'abord en interne au niveau de la Commission, mais présentées à l'Assemblée nationale en plénière, une plénière auquel sont conviés tous ceux qui veulent, en fait, la population. Donc, voilà un peu quelques éléments de l'expérience du Togo.
So very much. I think we've talked about monies collected or loans collected, but there is one critical issue that maybe we may need to spend the next few minutes to talk about, and that is answering the so what question, the purpose that the debts were collected for. Who has a responsibility to ensure between public accounts, for those who are separate, to ensure that we are achieving value for money? The first part of it is sustainability, and all that is maybe we are looking at compliance to ensure that the threshold is maintained. We are looking at compliance to ensure that the relevant laws are complied with. But at the end of the day, the purpose of the debts that were collected was to maybe enhance the growth and development of the nation. Who asked that questions, and how can we strengthen that? Rather than looking for how the monies are accounted for, but are we achieving value for money? Are we effective in converting that loan to achieving set goals? Are we efficient in the analysis and debate of the loans? Who asks and who responds? Who responds to those questions?
Thank you very much. In the Gambia, we do not only have the public accounts and finance, we also have the project monitoring. And that committee at times work with other committees to ensure that monies that are taken for projects are actually done into those said projects. And we have a mandate in our standing orders where the Ministry of Finance is also mandated to give us a budget implementation report to the plenary for every session. At times, this is not done, and I think it is up to the committee, accounts committee, to make sure that the Ministry of Finance also fulfills that obligatory mandates, our standing orders. And I think the fact that the committee is chaired by a member of the opposition makes it easier, because they are more in a position to push for the minister to come and actually do the report. But who actually makes sure that the project debt is actually injected into the right course, or what it was taken? That is a very difficult issue in the Gambia, because like I have said, a report should be tabled at the plenary, but the report is not in the project and how far. And also, when it comes to debt payment, it should be separated, the cost of debt plus the actual debt that was taken, because most times it is the cost of debt that makes it unsustainable. And I think as a committee, the oversight should be more on the cost of debt, because if we want to look at debt sustainability and we cannot afford the cost of debt,
parliamentarians, I would not want us to be an extension of the government. If we compromise, because sometimes we don't want, because of politics, we don't want to actually say that things were not injected into the compromises, our principles, it compromises our intelligence. But it must be part of our functions to make sure that what is taken is what the funds were actually
fulfill those conditions precedents to draw down. You will not be able to withdraw the remaining debt, because if it is given in stages. So as parliamentarians, as Public Accounts and Finance Committee, we must ensure that all conditions are fulfilled to the end of any project, and that is also part of our oversight. Otherwise, projects will remain unfulfilled, unfinished, and debt will still be unsustainable, because we have taken debt and we have not concluded the project, and the project cannot be implemented to further bring extra revenue. For example, if you take debt to build a school and you have not fulfilled conditions precedents to full drawdown of the debt, it will remain uncompleted and the debt will still be in your head, and you cannot utilize the use of that project for further sustainability. Thank you.
So much. As we just 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay. C'est clair que la Commission des finances et des échanges est au front-off, en amont justement de l'examen de la soutenabilité, de l'efficacité. Je vous donne un exemple. Dans le cadre du contrôle parlementaire de l'action gouvernementale relatif à la mise en œuvre des politiques publiques sectorielles et dans l'agriculture, il nous est arrivé d'exiger qu'il nous soit présenté un tableau de bord synoptique des projets et programmes et leur territorialisation, c'est-à-dire que ces projets qui ont été financés par des ressources de financement, qu'on nous dise quelles sont les ressources, ça vient de quel bailleur de fonds, et qu'on nous dise dans la mise en œuvre, étant donné qu'il y a une accélération maintenant, c'est sur quel territoire, ça concerne quelle filière, quelles sont les cibles de population. Ça, c'est un exemple. Et l'autre chose, c'est que nous avons, au moment de l'examen trimestriel du rapport d'exécution du budget, entre autres, de la mise en œuvre des dettes, quand nous siégeons, c'est justement et conjointement avec la Cour des comptes qui nous soutient par un examen préalable. Par ailleurs, a posteriori, il y a, au moment de l'examen ou de vote de la loi de règlement. Bon, voilà pourquoi il y a un contrôle renforcé. Toutefois, il est important que les parlementaires soient soutenus par un renforcement de capacité parce que les instruments d'endettement sont devenus plus complexes. Il y a les éléments probants d'analyse du budget, notamment de l'endettement, qui doit être démocratisé pour que les parlementaires non spécialisés puissent aller rapidement à l'information.
Thank you so much. I wish we can continue with this conversation, but we are caught by time. I'm sure you still have more time to talk about it. But for now, I want to crave your indulgence to maybe let's take inputs from the public. Maybe after the questions, maybe you have opportunity to maybe 1 minute. 3, right? Okay, because I've been called, the time is already behind us. So please, do we have 3? Okay, that's number 1, 2, and 3. Please, I beg of you, 1 minute, please, go straight to the question.
impact is not for our people.
Thank
Then
you
we
so
lose.
much. Thank you. Chairperson, over there.
Thank you. My name is Dr. William Umuna. I just want to make an illustration here. Oversight is the pillar that sustains a parliamentary auditing and finance reporting. When we have parliamentarians go on oversight, there can be one or two compromises that is inconsistent with the intent of the duties for which they went to. Now, my question to the panel is this. How do you monitor oversight compliance to avoid inducement and lapses that negates the purpose? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, with your kind, Mr. President, with your kind permission. Yes. One of the delegates to ask a question. Can you just allow me if I come to you, sir?
Oui, ça marche. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Merci, Monsieur le Modérateur. Je voudrais saluer également les panélistes. Mais ma préoccupation est de savoir, au niveau des différents parlements, quels sont les goulots d'étranglement quelles sont les difficultés que les commissions des finances rencontrent. Il y en a beaucoup. Et je voudrais, pour qu'on se partage l'expérience, également je voudrais dire, par rapport à l'effectivité, de voir si l'endettement va effectivement dans l'exécution, dans la réalisation des objectifs. Je voudrais dire qu'il y a plusieurs sortes d'endettement. Il y a les endettements conventionnels. Il y a également actuellement les eurobonds, les emprunts obligataires. Et lorsque souvent, moi, ça fait 13 ans que je suis dans la commission des finances, il m'est arrivé de poser des questions au gouvernement pour demander l'endettement que nous venons d'obtenir, ça sert à quoi? Le gouvernement répond que ça sert à financer le budget. En ce moment, c'est très difficile de savoir à quoi est spécifiquement destiné
panel from Ghana. Well, anyone who wants to provide an insight. So at what stage should the monitoring of monies borrowed be oversighted by the Public Account Committee? You know, traditionally the Public Account Committee deals with the audited account of each country prepared by the Director General for the Federation. So I'm asking,
MP from Ghana, can you please respond in 2 minutes, as much as possible?
Thank you very much. So, when it comes to issues surrounding debt reporting, the finance minister is mandated by the Public Financial Management Act to present to Parliament the annual debt report. And it provides an update on debt sustainability in line with the approved medium-term debt strategy. Once it is laid in Parliament, the Finance Committee examines the report in details and prepares recommendations to the plenary. Along the line, so there's a notice. Now cross-checks whether the debt service is within the approved fiscal framework. The Economy and the Development Committee also considers whether the borrowing aligns with the National Development Strategy. Then the Public Accounts Committee comes in to interrogate the So in 2023, when the Finance Committee, the Ministry of Finance submitted the annual debt report, we realized that our debt to GDP ratio exceeded 70%. In the energy sector. And we had civil society organizations like ISEP and Imani using the report to call for tighter borrowing. And it came back to Parliament, we debated it, and it fed into subsequent budget discussions. And so, in essence, in Ghana, it is not just the responsibility of the Public Accounts Committee to ensure that funds are being utilized well. Because by the time it comes to the Public Accounts Committee, the funds have been utilized. But now, right from the Finance Committee to the Budget Committee to the Economic and Development Committee, everybody is playing its role. And when there's any anomaly, it is arrested even before the money gets into somebody's pocket. And I think this provides a proper scrutiny and accountability for the public. And it's something that is working. We keep arresting situations, and year in, year out, you realize that if you look at the audit report, issues of misappropriation has really gone down. When the Auditor General releases his report, there's a lot of infractions, but clearly you realize that most of the infractions are on people who bypass the lay-down structures, but not really misappropriation, because we have a system where even along the value chain, there are checks and balances. Yes. Well,
it's already been done?
Yes, so the PAC's mandate is explicit. The PAC's mandate is to report on the report of the Auditor General. And so it is when, after the people have done the expenditure, the Auditor General has done his investigation and submitted the annual report to Parliament, then the PAC now comes in. But along that line, there can be some anomaly. And that is why, in the wisdom of our Parliament, we had a new standing order that brought in place a budget committee that is cross-checking whether the debt service is within the approved fiscal framework.
Okay, let's hear from 1 minute.
Merci. Je voudrais revenir à la question des défis. Notre collègue du Ghana avait parlé de la charge de travail. Comme nous avons une commission des finances qui a un mandat très large pour faire un travail spécifique
We're drawing the curtain to a close. They already. Are you promising me 1 minute? Are you sure? Please, well, let's give him 1 minute.
All right.
En fait, je voudrais recommander que nous puissions organiser des échanges interparlementaires. Premier aspect, nous devons renforcer les capacités de nos assistants, les capacités des parlementaires à partir des éléments probants d'analyse. Je voudrais demander que les parlementaires s'assurent que le pays dispose d'une politique d'endettement et d'une stratégie quinquennale d'endettement et demander un tableau de bord sectoriel des projets et programmes financés, sans oublier la dette intérieure, parce que les débats que nous faisons, c'est à croire que donc, quand on parle de dette publique, c'est uniquement la dette extérieure. Pour finir, il y a bel et bien des ressources de financement destinées à l'appui budgétaire. Si c'est destiné à l'appui budgétaire, vous ne pourrez pas secteur, etc. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. I think when it comes to at what point, I think in the Gambia, I can say that our constitution supports this, because if you look at section 155 of our constitution, it specifically talks about loans, and it gives the National Assembly the mandate to be involved at the stage even before that loan is approved, because without the approval of the National Assembly, the government cannot take the loan. It states that the National Assembly should, the loan should be laid before the National Assembly and should not come into effect until it is approved. So it means that we are involved at the point before even the loan is approved. And I think it gives us the mandate then to look into the level of indebtedness in the country to ensure that it can be sustained. So we have that leverage to make sure that we do not get into an unsustainable state of indebtedness. So I think that should be learned as well. But do we qualify that part of the constitution? That is also one stage. Somebody mentioned, should the assembly be an extension of the government? And I think that is where it comes in. We should respect the mandates of the national assemblies and also the mandates of the laws in our constitution, so that we control the level of debt that the country gets into. And I think we need to make sure that we act as per the laws of our countries to ensure that. And also somebody did say about the sovereignty of the state. If a state is drowned by debt, obviously that is when they are controlled by their debtors. Interfering in the democracy of our countries. And I think as a WAPAC, we should make sure that our countries control our debt level so that we can act as per the laws, not based on what is imposed on us. Thank you.
My closing comments will be as a citizen of Africa, and it's going to be a challenge for WAPAC and maybe the various officers of Auditor Generals of the various countries. It is not just enough to sustainability of the debt. It's not just enough to ensure that there are no infractions, but final analysis achieved. It's possible we are collecting the debt, we are using it for what it was meant for, but citizens are asking, how is it that we've been collecting loans, the debt loans are piling, yet we are not seeing the benefits of those loans? I think that was the center of Professor Amadi's paper yesterday. That cannot be done in a year, and that is not going to be based on a single year's report of the Auditor General. We don't continue to repeat this in circles. We are getting more debts, yet we are not achieving our developmental goals. Trend analysis is the way to go. Performance audit is the solution to that. And as PACs, we should be asking that so what question. Are we getting value for those debts? If not, why? Where are the gaps? I think that is the biggest value PACs can be bringing to the table. Thank you so very much for the opportunity. And let's give our panelists a round of applause as we round up.
Please, you can stay, just rise for group photograph and let Mr. President, ma'am, just a group photograph there. And Mr. President and the Chairman PAC Nigeria kindly join for the group photograph with the panelists. Thank you very much, distinguished MPs. No, we are doing it here. Yes. Yes. Okay. Please, let's applaud our distinguished panelists for great insight. On est à 10h50 jusqu'à 11h15. Je vous donne quand même quelques temps un peu. 11h15, on se retrouve dans la salle pour continuer. All right, thank you. His Excellency, Mr. President, has announced a tea break to commence immediately. Tea break and return in 20 minutes at 11:15. Thank you very much. After the tea break, we will start the first order of today as listed.
You need to take it nearby out there. You're home live to GTV Africa, live from Abuja, and the plenary section is first plenary section is over, and this is time for tea break. I'll see if I can have opportunity of finding out from some of the participants what they have gained from this, and you like to see some of the dressings I can locate right down there. Yes, as you can see, the the kind of dressing that some of them are exhibiting from their country, trying to let you know and see how, what they have. In a few minutes, I'll be looking for some of them.